Hello, everyone. News Channel 3, Chief Meteorologist Keith Thompson here with a YouTube and Facebook live weather update. 9:27 on the clock. I had some fires that I had to put out, or at least tend to, not literal, of course. And I let the time slip away from me. So I apologize to that for being on here late. But I do think it's important to get here and go over the update with you. For those who are still able to hang out with me, I'll keep it short, I promise. I know that I don't ever follow through with that, but I promise that I will. We are closing out our weather alert day, and I do think that it's sort of verified, certainly with that winter weather advisory from the National Weather Service. And, you know, some slick travel out there to be sure. And that advisory has been extended by the National Weather Service until, I believe it's 10 o'clock in the morning. I believe it's 10 o'clock in the morning. And so that's what we're looking at. Sub-zero chills are going to continue. And by the way, the advisory also extended for our folks on the Michigan-Indiana border. We're talking to you, Berrien County, Cass County, St. Joe. That now goes until 1 o'clock in the morning. So not extended. It was only extended by 6 hours because it was supposed to go away at 7 o'clock this evening. So extended or renewed, whatever you wanted to say, for 6 more hours in Berrien, Cass, and St. Joe County, but then re-upped, if you will, for another 15 hours for the counties that I'll show you coming up in just a little bit. Hello to you, Mike. It's Taco Tuesday. Hope you had some. I did not have tacos today. Chris, hello to you in Coopersville. Jennifer in Byron Center, thank you for checking in. All right, let's get to it. I'm going to zoom this out so that we can start going. You see what we have here. Sub-zero chills are going to continue for tomorrow morning at the bus stop. Some scattered snow. Could we see some light accumuls, especially in the snow belt west of US 131? Sure. An inch, 2, maybe 3 at the most, because we are going to have a rather persistent cold northwest flow here throughout the night tonight and continuing, forecast models suggest, into tomorrow. And as a result, I do think that we're going to see a little enhancement, maybe a little light accumulation in those areas. But I don't think that we're going to see, what I don't think we'll see tomorrow are the strong winds like we had today. I don't know if you were out and about, but boy, that wind was just whipping the snow around, drifting the snow and causing visibility issues, throwing some of that snow on the road. It was definitely problematic. Carla, hello to you. Just keep snowing and blowing enough. Good for you, Mike. I'm glad you got some in there. Hello, K&M. Icy roads for sure. David, your drives to work in the morning have been very quiet with school closed every day. Jennifer, good evening to you. John in downtown Hudsonville, always good to see you. Kaylee, hello. From Penfield Township, hello. I am doing great, Karen. You want some sun, but let's get to it. You see, tomorrow morning we're going off at 5 degrees with wind chills tomorrow morning to the bus stop. 0 to -5. Dress appropriately. It's not as cold as what we had yesterday and the day before when we had those cold weather advisories or cold air advisories, cold weather advisories, but still very cold. Heading home will be at 14. I don't think we're going to, we could still have some winds of 15 to 20, but not like the 35 to 40 like we had today. There will still be some occasional snow. We're talking mainly west of US 131, but it is going to be cold with that temperature at 14. We're looking at winds tomorrow generally in the neighborhood of 10, maybe 15. That would yield a wind chill into the single digits for sure, maybe around 5, 6, 7 degrees. So it is going to be cold even tomorrow afternoon. Now here's the latest on the winter weather advisory. Through 10 a.m. for 4 of the counties that you see on the map: Kalamazoo County, Van Buren County, South Haven, Allegan County, and Ottawa County. That now goes until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. And basically that's going to cover the overnight for still some breezy conditions out there blowing the snow around. That wind is just taking a little bit longer to relax, I think, than the forecast model suggested. I would agree with that. But tomorrow, I don't think the wind will be as much of an issue. And so we're not really talking about a lot more snow, but we are talking about that snow still blowing around. And then it's also now through 1 a.m. for our border counties. You see that in the banner. And that's going to be St. Joe, Cass, and Berrien counties. And then as you see, it extends down into northwest Indiana there. So that's what we're looking at. All right, currently the visibility is good. This is good news, right? Muskegon at 2.5. So that's down a little bit. But for the most part, as you can see, the visibility is excellent. So let's get right to the radar. Look, compared to what we were looking at 6 hours ago, certainly 12 hours ago, there's not a lot here. Just a little bit of light snow going on. So that certainly is some good news. And with the wind starting to come down, The only problem really is going to be the snow blowing around, the snow blowing over the roads, and also the visibility. Is that going to be an issue in the morning? Not to the level that it was today. However, if you're driving 131, you're going down through Allegan County, you're going down through Schoolcraft area, South Kalamazoo, where you got those big, wide open plains, expanses there, farm fields without any tree breaks. Yeah, it could have some issues there. Not as widespread, not as problematic as it was this morning. Same for I-196, and same for any predominantly north-south or even north-south oriented road. So that's just something to keep in mind. But overall, compared to this morning, it won't be as problematic. However, that said, remember, the advisory does continue until 10 a.m. for Kalamazoo, Van Buren, Allegan, and Ottawa counties. And so that does mean on your commute tomorrow, if you're commuting in those areas, just be aware, especially along and west of US 131. Notice now all of the activity really is all west of US 131. The winds are starting to diminish. When the winds are stronger, it blows it east of the highway. Now the winds are dying down. But again, west of US 131, if you're commuting anywhere overnight tonight or your morning commute tomorrow, not as problematic as it was today, but I do think that there still could be some issues. You need to give yourself some time and be ready for it. Our air temperatures right now, look at South Haven at a balmy 18 degrees. Compared to what we've had lately, yeah, that's balmy. And then as you move inland, you get away from our warmer Lake Michigan. It doesn't look warmer with that shelf ice out there, but it is. And by the way, ice, there is a Twitter account, X account, that monitors that, and I should post where that account is so that anybody can go and see it. I think Lake Michigan ice is up to about 28 to 30%, something like that. I'll have to go check. But you can still see the effect of that air coming over portions of an open lake that are still warmer. And as you move away from that influence, east of US 131, look how the temperatures drop. And so you got 7 in Hastings, 6 in Battle Creek. Our cold corridor, I like to call it, I-69 from Coldwater to Marshall to Charlotte and Lansing right now in the single digits. And how about another cold corridor? How about that being I-96, right, from Grand Rapids to Ionia to Lansing? Here's our feels like temperatures. If you remember yesterday, last night at this time, I was shocked when I saw those. Kalamazoo was at minus 21. Sturgis was at minus 23 or 24. Coldwater was in the same boat. Not as bad right now. And you know why? The air temps are cold, as I showed you, but the wind is coming down a little bit. Hastings still at minus 10, a bit of an outlier there with Ionia. Most locations right now are in the vicinity of 0, a little bit below 0 to 10 above. Most. All right. So here's what we're looking at. I'm going to have to jet ahead right here to our WeatherGuard 7-day forecast. And the reason for that, I already got 9:34 on the clock. When you start late, that's what happens. So here's what we're looking at. The cold air is going to stick. A good chance it will have some scattered snow Wednesday, Thursday. Are we going to see some accumulating snow? Maybe some light accumes, but again, that's going to be mainly in the snow belt, and I don't think there's going to be a lot of that. The same for Thursday. Then we get another Arctic shock coming in here Thursday night into Friday. Thursday night into Friday. So Friday, we're looking at a high of only 10 degrees, right? And what is Friday? The 30th. And on the 30th, we're looking at winds that are, believe it or not, are still not going to be too strong. In fact, here, we're going to be with a northeast wind. So it's going to be a northeast wind that's going to be bringing in that cooler air at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. That's about as friendly as it gets this time of year. Here's what that means. On a northeast wind, usually drier, and usually, especially when there's not much punch to the wind, it's not very strong, we're not going to get too much of a fetch coming off of Lake Huron. Now, the thumb area, probably a different story. So Midland and Flint and Bay City and Saginaw, Flint, probably a different story. Certainly over around Bad Axe, for example, and Oscoda. However, in West Michigan, I don't think so. And that's why I think we'll see some sunshine. And if we see any snow, it's just a slight chance. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see any snow on Friday, despite the cold air. And you might think, wait a minute, usually when it gets colder, we say lake effect. It all is into the trajectory, the wind direction. And in this case, our forecast model is showing that this cold air is going to be coming in on a relatively light northeast breeze. It's going to mean business. Look at that, minus 10 for Friday morning, minus 10. And even with just a 5 mile per hour wind, you're going to end up with a wind chill of minus 15. So Friday morning at the bus stop, once again, very cold, very cold. It's going to be cold tomorrow morning, going to be cold Thursday morning, but very cold Friday morning. But I do think we'll trend towards some sunshine for Saturday and Sunday. Look at those morning lows. This is ridiculous. Ridiculous. I was just looking back at the winter of 93, 94, not 93, 13, 14, which was our last really super cold one. And I think we had 13 or 14 sub-zero days in that winter. We're not looking at that many right now, but we're building them up, that's for sure. And we're going to tack on a few more, I think, later on this week. Next week, how about this? Next week, how about a bit of a warm-up? Oh, yeah, I think everybody would vote for that. The first, by the way, is Sunday. We say goodbye to January. Good riddance to this cold stuff. I know, Chris, you're not on the board of you're not on board with that in Coopersville there. But we will be warming up, and in fact, we're going to be back up in the mid-20s. What do you know? Time for a cookout by about a week to a week and a half out. So there is some hope for a warm up. We're not talking about temperatures, by the way, that I think we'll get. We're not going to get warmer than average. It looks like we're going to stay colder than average all the way through the end of the first week of February. I mean, this has staying power, but I don't think it's going to remain this cold, what we have right now, this cold into next week. We'll get a little bit of relief. All right, everybody, I'm going to have to skate. I know I so missed saying hello to everybody, and I apologize for that. You might get some dripping icicles. You're right. Sunday, David, with the sun. That might help us out there. Thanks for the thanks, Mike. Yeah, I love the sun. I love the sunshine coming up for the weekend. I think we're going to have a fair amount of sun for the weekend, but it is still going to be very cold, especially in the morning. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in here. I apologize for coming on here late and for not being able to do the roll call. But we got a lot of weather to talk about, and I think people are right when they say, "Hey, would you please do the weather and quit reading off the names?" It's a conflict for me. The conflict is real. All right, I'll be live at 10 on Arc West, Michigan. That's in just 22 minutes. I'll be live at an hour 22 on the Mothership News Channel 3. Don't forget Jeff Porter here, 4:30 to 9 a.m. Must-see TV, because he's going to have the latest with the cold and the radar, and if there are any kind of problems on the roads. I don't anticipate it. Although roads that are in bad shape right now, whatever they might be, are probably not going to improve very much. So just keep that in mind. But our weather situation is not going to deteriorate. It actually should improve a little bit, certainly compared to this morning and early this afternoon. But cold continues to be a big theme, and getting even colder for Friday and Saturday. So just keep that in mind. Jeff's got that for you, 4:30 to 9 a.m. tomorrow morning on News Channel 3. He's got you again at noon. My good buddy, Daddy Will be in here. Will's in for me tomorrow. So he'll be in here to take you through your Wednesday. But by the way, when you look at the 7-day, I'll tell you something else I don't see, and that is a weather alert day. I'm happy about that. I am on Facebook, WWMT's Keith Thompson, on Instagram, Threads, X, and YouTube at Weatherman Keith. That's at Weatherman Keith. You can catch me there as well. I'm back in here to take the con, as they say, on Thursday. So if I don't catch up with you tonight on the tube, I'll try to post a little bit on Wednesday, but definitely I'll be back in the saddle on Thursday. We'll see you then. Stay safe, stay warm, everybody, and stay with us. We'll keep you up to speed, and we'll keep you weather alert. Good night, everybody.